Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on Boyz in the Hood. Now, as you know, Boyz in the Hood was a 1991 American coming-of-age drama film that was directed by John Singleton, which was also his theatrical film debut, and was meant to be based on his own personal experience growing up. And pretty much the premise of the movie is meant to follow Trey, who is sent to live with his father after a confrontation at school, and with Trey's father, who's played by Lawrence Fishburne, known as Furious. You can tell his father wants to keep him on the straight and narrow and want him to kind of be the man he expects him to be. So at the same time, we do see the start from 1984 of how Trey grows up with a kid and basically is friends with some of the kids. For example, Doughboy, who's kind of the outcast in the family by his mum, Ricky, who is meant to be Doughboy's half-brother, and his mum's meant to favour him. You've got Chris, who's just added in there to kind of be the extra member, but there is some foreshadowing to what's going to happen to him later on in the next half. So pretty much when we are introduced to 1991, we do see Trey now a full-grown adult teenager, and we do kind of see Doughboy, Chris, and all that now part of a gang known as the Crips. And keep in mind that Ice Cube pretty much does a decent job in playing Doughboy. He kind of gives this tough guy feel, but you can tell he still cares about Ricky. With Ricky, who's meant to be grown up, is kind of shown to be an extremely bad decision maker and only seems to basically take on other people's interests without really following his own certain goals. And the thing about following your own goals is about not copying off of others, but following your own goals. And pretty much I would say that, yeah, the second thing that he's a bad decision maker is becoming a teenage father, and basically as well getting on people's bad sides. That kind of becomes his downfall. So pretty much we do see Trey pretty much wanting to be with his first love, Brandy, and we do kind of see Trey, Ricky, and all that not only passing through exams, but we do see them learning and becoming something more than just being part of the hood. And after something tragic happens with Ricky, you kind of have Trey making the ultimate decision in taking revenge or just moving on from it. And I would say the movie definitely has an important message about using your smarts, your skills, as well as your ability to learn to escape from the life on the hood. And I think it does well. Now, I do kind of feel with basically with the deleted scenes that were in the movie, they actually could have had, you know, Trey seeing his mum, as it would have been a nice way for Trey to kind of talk about his future plans, and it would have been nice to have had Furious kind of talking with Doughboy about not going for vengeance against Ferris and his crew, who are part of a gang called the Bloods. And keep in mind, the Bloods and the Crips are meant to be at each other's throats even to this day. And what's actually interesting is the director himself had pretty much as well wanting to make the movie as realistic as possible, and didn't tell anyone when guns were going to be firing, so it kind of gave you that realistic feel that most people would have gone through. And what's interesting is that there's even a self-hating officer. And I think if you were someone who grew up in a kind of large town like if you were living in Gloucester, if you were basically living all at school, you always had that one friend who kind of belittled his own people. And I think that's happened a lot. And what's actually interesting is that the film did come with some prices. For example, Lloyd Avery II, known for playing Ferris's gunman, did end up eventually joining a gang and ended up getting himself killed. And an actor who played Dookie, who was known for having a large pacifier in his mouth, tragically died during a confrontation during a drag race. And I think the movie did come with some positives. For example, we see Ice Cube in much bigger roles and doing some family films, not doing the same gangster films. And you do see Neil Long and Ice Cube working together on Friday, Are We There Yet? And Are We Done Yet? And I think the movie Somewhere Boyz in the Hood lifted its gun, fired, and left a good impact for a movie. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.